Yet another adventure. Heading out to pick up the group. Should be interesting. The weather is nice and warm. Kind of gotten used to it now. It rained last night, so it's a little more humid than our usual high humidity. So it's going to be an interesting ride. I think you'll love the clips we put together for you.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rode into the woodlands, picked up the group from the Alden Village Center. We headed west. We took Research Forest to 1488. That's off camera. Once we got into Magnolia, past Karen, started to film on Jackson Road, all the way to 1486 into Dobbins. Continued filming after the stop at the store, all the way into Dacus and on Johnson Road. Stopped filming when we got to 149. We went down 149 to Hidden Forest Road, Mount Pleasant Road, stopped at Taco after riding 1097. Then we cut through the historical route into Plantersville Road, Spring Branch Road, through the neighborhood, past Keenan, Honia Egypt Road. It was very windy. It was a steady ride. For the most part, the group relatively stayed together. And it was very pleasant. We had a good pace the entire time. It was a great workout. I think you'll love the clips put together for you. We're on the open road. We're on Jackson Road North, headed towards Dobbins, Texas. We've just passed the intersection where 149 becomes Jackson Road. We've got a good group here. It's a warm morning, you know, not as warm as last week, but still warm. There's Mike Bradbury in front of me here. He's been out of town. He's been in Europe on vacation, so he's just returned. So he's not really at his old level. So he's trying to get himself back into the swing of things. And so what you should do is, if you've been away from your training plan and you come in, you should kind of do what Michael's doing here. He spent most of the ride sitting in. He didn't pull. And when he had had enough, he let the group go. That's what you have to do. You have to allow your body the chance to get in shape and not try to force things. Your form will come from consistency and the proper training efforts. So my plan was to not work too hard because I was having a long day. I ended up riding almost close to 7 hours in total because I always start ride to the ride. Then after the ride, I do a little more on the way home. So I end up putting in a couple more hours than the group time. So you can see I'm sitting in the wheel. Michael stayed on the right to avoid braking. I stay on his left. So when he drifts to the right, he doesn't have to get on the brakes. So since he's drifting to the right, I drift to the left, which gives me visibility. I can see around the riders in front. And then once we get going again, I get back in the line. That's the way you can ride without braking too frequently. Minimal braking. Let the wind slow you down. Let friction slow you down. So you got to stay in the wheels to be efficient. Don't leave too wide of a gap. A foot or so. You can see a piece of my tire there. And then if you want to work harder, you can leave a wider gap if you want to, if you choose to. But I know I've got a long day, so I'm making sure that I don't work unnecessarily. Somebody slowed down, so I drifted to the left. Michael drifted to the right. The entire ride, we have some kind of wind. Basically, the wind is coming from the right, which is the east. We're headed north. We don't have a perfect tailwind, so to speak. So it's kind of a tail crosswind. But it's mostly pushing us. You see, we're doing almost 24, 25 miles an hour. In the group, you end up not working as hard as you would by yourself all the time. If you look at the watts, they flicker 250 or so, then they go to like 40 or whatever, or 100 and something, because there are times when you have to soft pedal, you turn off the power. That's what's happening. So the power is all over the place, and it's being averaged every 3 seconds. If it were actual power and not averaged for 3 seconds, it would really be all over the place. So that's why a lot of riders will look at that normalized power, so to speak. When somebody has raised the pace at the front, I'm gonna rev up a little bit, then just slow down again. It's not very steady. That's always the case with most group rides. You can see part of the roads are wet. We had rain the night before. I think it ended in the wee hours. So the roads are relatively dry, but you can see some wet spots. We're having all these spring storms, so to speak. There was a storm last night, Monday night, Memorial Day afternoon. It rained, and then at night we had a storm. And this morning I went for a spin, Tuesday morning, and there were trees down in certain neighborhoods. In our yard, we had a branch that came down. I had to haul it off today. So a lot of the younger trees were knocked around. We had a lot of wind, thunder and lightning. I think it was mostly thundering, I guess. Maybe a little bit of lightning. But it were violent storms. The lights flickered a bit. I was very surprised that it stayed on. Because usually when we have rain like that, we lose power. But our power company has been cutting branches proactively. I've noticed that this spring. They were out in our neighborhood cutting the tree branches that were over the power lines. So I think that made a difference, because we lost some branches and some young trees. I went to an area called Grogan's Point. There were trees across the road. So this week is supposed to be milder. We're going to be like 27 Celsius, 80 degrees, 80, 83 Fahrenheit for a high, which we'll take it for this time of year anyway. I'm probably riding a 53.17 and just staying in that gear, revving up when I need to, and then pedaling slower, because the pace is yo-yoing. Otherwise, you end up doing a lot of shifting. I only shift when the road changes dramatically. That's kind of how you have to ride. If you're sitting in, you don't need to be wasting your energy. So when I spin a gear up, that means I'm trying to close a gap or something. But for the most part, you want to ride like you're cruising in favorable terrain. a few kilometers, the road's going to kick up. And we end up riding pretty steadily most of the ride. So yeah, there were no major surges or anything. Had a guy up there named Garrett. He did a lot of pulling for many hours. I think he might be the one pulling. I'm not sure. Can't really tell right now. You can see the hill in the distance. It goes up and it curves to the left. Right here is going downhill. Might be like minus 2.0. It goes down and then it kicks up. If you look in the distance, it kicks up, then it goes left. It's a nice gradual climb. Nothing that drastic. It might be 4% or so, something like that. Pretty mild. I stay a little to the left of Michael here because I don't want to break my rhythm. We're already on the climb here. It says 2 point something. I thought it was steeper than that. I'm sure it kicks up more. Yeah, it's going back up. 3 point something. I stay a little to the left. So if somebody slows down, I don't have to stop. I have a nice rhythm and I just want to ride it. I guess the most gradient I've seen is 3% or so. I thought it was higher. But it continues, so we're still climbing. So Michael's doing the same thing I'm doing. He stayed to the right of the guy on the left because he didn't want to change his rhythm either. Now they're going up a little faster, so he's right on the wheel. You can see I've slid back behind him. That's the way you ride. So they're slowing down, and I'm going to stay a little to his left because I don't really want to change my rhythm. We're about ready to level off. It flattens out here for a bit. About a kilometer. I was just looked at that car that just passed. The truck had a signal going left. Don't know. Sometimes if you're turning left, there's no point in passing. Just wait. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was just a signal that he's passing. I mentioned that because we get a lot of people that will pass and then immediately make a turn. Or some people will pass and they're turning right in front of us. So it's like we're already going straight. So if you're going to turn right, just people make very poor decisions sometimes. You gotta watch out for that. Gotta be alert. Keep your eyes about whenever you're riding. So levels off here, I think it's in the kick up. I think this is where it kicks up. We're going to 1486. Yeah, 3 point something. I thought these were steeper. Well, 4%. There we go. So right here it kicks up a little bit. 1486 is about probably 200 meters up, and then we're going to go right, taking us northeasterly. Go east and go north. So whenever you drift, like you see me drift, I drifted to the left, Michael drifted to the right. Whenever you're drifting, always try to get back in the line in the same position you were in, where possible. I mean, if somebody gets in there, you know, there's no point to it, but Most riders will know that you're behind that person, and they'll just let you have the wheel. But that's the way you want to do it because they know why you moved over. You saw that black truck. He had to move over because that guy turned. One of the cyclists, he turned without checking. People get careless when they're in a group. The group turned on the shoulder. He should have turned on the shoulder. He turned onto the road. That driver had to move over. Even with the group, you got to check. Because just because the leader's turn doesn't mean that the situation in traffic will remain the same for you. I move over to the right. You see Michael waving? He's letting me know that they're slowing down. I already know. But he knew I was coming up on it. I already knew. That's why I just drifted to the right. I didn't want to brake. Somebody slowed down drastically. Some riders use the brakes too much. Everything needs to be gradual. It's like a dance, you know? Smooth. When you ride smoothly, people are comfortable following your wheel because you're more predictable. And it comes with experience and practice, really. Practice, that's it. So whoever is pulling right now is doing a very good job because the speed is staying fairly steady. We're in the same zones for the most part. And that's why you saw the braking back there, because the person following was being sucked down and didn't slow down gradually. Tonight he's going faster because the terrain dictates we're going downhill here. So he's basically doing the same effort and we're carrying more speed. So to be efficient, you have to pace yourself. And especially if you're riding in a group, when you're sitting in, don't waste your energy. Use that opportunity to conserve and get the benefit of the 30% less work that you have to do, especially when you're further back in the line. We're going downhill. You can see I'm not pedaling, but we're spread out because we're going faster, 26 miles an hour. Leave a little more room. It allows you to see around riders. The faster you descend, the more room you should leave between riders, because you have shorter reaction times. It levels off here. I don't know if the person at the front has pulled off or whether we have somebody else, but things have slowed down quite a bit. There may be someone that's pulled off. I don't think he comes all the way to the back. I think he goes in like third or fourth position. Can't really see him on the camera. My goal for the day was to do, the total ride with the group was 85 miles, about 132 kilometers, something like that, I'm estimating. And so my goal was, don't waste any energy. If people want to pull hard, just sit in and ride, finish the route. Because not everyone who does our ride finishes the route. I'm basically just sitting in one gear. I'll roll at 80, 95, 100, 75, whatever. And not bothering shifting because we're riding fairly steadily. So when you ride like that, if you need to accelerate, you got to be willing to downshift and spin the gear up. But when it's steady and you're just holding a rolling speed and you're in the back, there's no point in you spinning at 110 in the back. That's inefficient. You need to find your cruising cadence or whatever you feel like doing at the moment where you're not working unnecessarily. The whole point of sitting in is to save your energy. We're going to be turning left soon to go on Mount Moriah Road towards our first stop. There's a car behind us. We got in early enough. I've got my hand right now pointing left, so the driver knows we're turning, so he or she does not try to pass us. That's why you see Michael looking behind. We know there's a car there. The driver's aware. We turn, get off the road. This is a quieter road here.
Come back. Come back.
I'm standing right now. That's why you see my wheels moving right, left. I'm out of the saddle. It felt good to just stand a bit. Whenever you stand, shift your gear at least one cog higher. So our first stop is about 1.5 kilometers up the road, about a mile. So right now I'm just pretty much just sitting in. This is not when you want to waste energy or anything. When you see the watts drop to like 42, that means I'm soft pedaling because someone has slowed down. Like here it says 0 because this guy came up on me. Somebody slowed down in front of him. So you don't need to use the brakes too much, really. You got to be paying attention to where you know when to turn off the power, soft pedal. All of that saves your energy for when it's absolutely necessary. It was a very muggy morning because it had rained the night before. It says 29 Celsius. That's almost 85 degrees Fahrenheit at 8:22 in the morning. You know, so you feel it. So we're pretty much at the corner. There's a store across. I'm sitting up right here, just sitting and turning the gear. We're already at the store, so I'm not gonna waste my energy. I don't like to just ride till the point of where we're stopping at speed. I like to kind of spin down a little bit. Kind of like when you have a turbo engine in your car to tell you to at least let it cool down for like a minute if you've been pushing it, so the turbo can cool down a little bit. and not let that oil develop a lot of varnish. Same thing. This is our first stop. We call this Taco Corner number 2. They have a kitchen in there to make tacos, empanadas, and all kinds of stuff. We do not, I don't partake in that. I bring my own food. So pretty much what we do is mostly buy drinks. We definitely buy water. I'm throwing my trash. I've got like food wrappers under my jersey. I dropped it over there. Because when I get so many of them, they kind of ride up under the jersey. I think you're going to hear me tell Paul, let's make this a short stop. So I didn't want to stop too long.
Let's keep it pretty short, guys. Let's keep this stop short. I go in the morning.
So we're rolling here. We kept the stop pretty short. I want to get this moving before the day gets really, really hot. This says 33 Celsius. Temperature's going up. Like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a warm day.
This road is
So
always like this.
basically we drink and we load our bottles. This is Mount Moriah Road. We have it going. One of the riders was riding with us, Kenny. He's up ahead. He had gone ahead and started spinning while we were stopped.
The traction watch has an app. So on my phone, I set it up to give me push notifications within 6 miles of my home. Any ride that started. Otherwise, you will get everything. So that's how come his ride popped up. So 3 o'clock is too much. Yeah, I downloaded the app. It's all right. I mostly do it on my computer.
We're talking about a ride that Doug, or one of the riders riding with us, set up a ride for Sunday afternoon. That's what Paul and I are talking about. There's a Chasing Watts is an app that people load rides in the area. You can put your radius of miles from where you live for the rides that you want to pop up on your radar, so to speak. So you're not getting rides that are 30 miles from where you live or something like that. And it's a free service. It's called Chasing Watts. Developed by a rider in the area that rides with us from time to time. So after the stops, really, we just kind of start rolling again. There's no like a gradual warm-up. We didn't stop that long. We just kind of, we keep going. This road has been cracking. That's why you see all the patches of asphalt, those lines. They put liquid asphalt on there to try to keep water from going under the asphalt, because that's what really causes the road to fail. If you can keep water out of there, the road will last, because the soil is moving beneath the asphalt. They really didn't secure it. It has a lot to do with the preparation of the road. So it's kind of like the road, if you don't put enough substrate, let's say rocks or whatever else, As soon as you get a lot of moisture, the soil can get eroded.
You're riding with people when everybody turns, want to get in line, then you go. Start that foolishness when the ride gets really hard and the first to get dropped. Yeah.
What I'm talking about here with Paul is that we had turned on 149 and we had a rider that just took off in the turn. Well, the other riders were still turning when he was gone down the way. So we really did not chase. We just held the group pace. And we eventually pulled it back because the group, you know, the train is not going to stop. And that's what Paul and I were talking about. I said it was good that we had somebody at the front who knew what they were doing instead of wasting energy to chase somebody down for nothing, for no good reason.
They should bring the contractor who built this road back to do it under warranty. Yeah. Because they didn't support the...
Kenny went ahead while we were still at the store. He said he was going to spin ahead. We'll pick him up on 1486. It's all, I think, I don't know if it's on camera or not. I think after we pick him up. Yeah, because this road is new. They didn't prepare the surface very well. We used to ride this thing while it was being built.
Good morning.
If you don't prepare the surface of the road properly, the moisture gets there. This is what happens. Because there's not a lot of heavy trucks on this road. This is a residential road. So you've got pickup trucks and automobiles and regular cars. We pass a couple of cyclists here. Regular cars, so it's like there's no reason for this road to be failing so quickly. But it's moisture that causes all the cracks that you see. Moisture gets in between there, gets under the road, and washes the structure away, and the road collapses. As the soil moves underneath, it cracks. Same thing will happen to your house. If you have a house and the structure under your house, like the soil gets washed away, your foundation can crack or your walls can crack. You know, same stuff. That's Abby on my right. So my goal is minimal effort. So just sitting in the wheels. So for the most part, we stayed between 20 to about 25 miles an hour most of the time. And in this terrain with the wind and everything, it was hard. There were times where we'd be doing like 22, 23, especially going south towards Taco. And that wind was blowing like crazy. When it's very, very windy, if I'm riding solo, I try to do between 17, 20 miles an hour, something like that. Depending on how steep the wind is. I don't have a problem dropping my effort. I stay within the same zone I want to do. And it's mostly around between 16 to 20 miles an hour, depending on the terrain. If the wind is like maybe 10 kilometers an hour or something like that, or maybe 10 to 15K. But if it's heavier than that, I don't worry about the speed I'm doing. I focus more on how hard I want to work. I just know I'm going to be going slower. So I don't worry about the wind. I actually enjoy the wind. The wind is good resistance. So the sound you're hearing is my tires going over these cracks and the camera being rattled. Because everywhere they put those oily asphalt to try to seal it, it's a crack. It's not even anymore. That's another reason I keep my tire pressures low, so I can really enjoy the suppleness of the tire. Because you put 110, 120 in your tire, you'll feel all that stuff. That's just too much. I keep my tire pressure between 90 to 95 PSI. Soaks up all the bumps. So as we descend, I'm going to stay to the left. I don't want to brake too much and let the wind slow me down. So this descent will lead us to a grade as we go over the bridge. If I'm right about where we are on this road, there are a couple of areas where they look the same. So we may not be there yet. It's a very quiet road. Any time of the week you come through here, you get a good workout. So yeah, after this bridge, maybe about 100 meters or so, and then it kicks up as we go towards 1486. When we get to 1486, I turn off the camera to save the film because I wanted to film us climb Johnson Road. I don't think we've done that in a while. I wanted to make sure I got that. I love that road. A lot of times when it rains, it's underwater. It's a low-lying area. So it's been a few weeks since we've had any heavy rains. I figured it was safe to come out here. So in a little bit, we'll flip the script to where after we get to Dacus, when we get on Johnson Road, then we resume filming. But this road we're coming to is called 1486. It's a highway. We're in a straight line. Not much to see there. Just a line. So I wanted to not film on the highway. This is where the road starts to kick up. It gets to like 4% or so. You really feel it. It's Mount Moriah. At this point in the ride, we're on Johnson Road. We're in Dacus, Texas. We're headed east. This part of the road is usually underwater when we have a lot of rain. The water has receded. We're here a few weeks ago and it was underwater. We had to turn around at this point. This is one of my favorite roads in the area. I really love the character of the road and the challenge of the road. It's up and down. It's very quiet. There are farms to the right. Usually there are cows out there. You can see the fencing. Nothing's out today. We're moving at a good clip now. It's going to slow down because the road's going to start going up. So if you watch the grade above the wattage on the metrics on the screen, you see the grade going up. And we're going to be going at least 5 kilometers, let's say maybe 3 miles. It's up and down. I'm sitting to the left of Paul because the wind is coming from the right, from the south. So I'm kind of in a little bit of an echelon.
My bad.
You heard what I said. I just said car back. You want to just say car back. Some riders will scream and it startle people. It's not an emergency. There's a car back. I'm just letting them know there's a car back so that if somebody was going to pull off, they would know not to. And that's the vehicle that goes by. The roads around here are very quiet. You get a car now and then. And it was like an FYI, car back, just so you know. You don't need to be screaming. You say it because someone had said car back behind me, and so I passed it on. There's 2.8. It's gonna get steeper as we go. You see where it turns to the left? Some dog, he lives out here. He's going to come and start something. And he's like a herding dog. So you'll see him, he'll come out, we'll yell at him, then he'll stay in the grass and start racing us to show how fast he is. Hey! There he is. Look at him.
Get off the road.
So show off. I told him to get off the road. He always, this is like the first time we've encountered him. He's not consistent. He's not always out there. He obviously lives nearby because there are houses behind the trees that you see. He was trying to show off his speed. So when those dogs come out like that, your goal should be don't let them get in front of you. They can cause crashes. So we descend here and I'm going to start kicking up again. So all the speed that we gain, it just gets scrubbed off because it goes from down to like 4.5%, 5%. I pretty much stay in the same gear and I just kind of work the gear. I didn't do a lot of downshifting and spinning. In upper 70s, my cadence. That way I'm working my legs. I felt it at the end of the ride. The 7th hour, my legs were complaining while I was on my way home, cooling down. So this one you can sit in a bunch and work harder. You gotta, because instead of just sitting in there, when you sit in a bunch, your heart rate has a tendency to be a little lower than if you're pulling. So you have to decide how hard you want to work. And so if you want to work hard while you're back there, use larger gears. You can kind of mix it up. So Garrett's taking a break. He's been pulling for quite a while. I told him, good job, good pull. And he sat up there. Most of the ride he was pulling. The all-around strong rider. So you see this road, they recently paved it. It's beautifully paved. Look at the surface. Just beautiful. I went to the left because I was descending faster than the rider in front of me, but I'm going to maintain the same position in the line. He's going to come back. And so he's expending all his energy. I'm not sure why he was slowing down when we're descending. Maybe he hit his brakes. I don't like to do that. If you're going to go and climb again, just take all that momentum and get at least halfway up the climb. So right here, it kicks up in this curve. I think it gets to like 5% or more. I try to stay as close to 90 as I can. RPMs. Michael's spinning a small gear. And, you know, I guess that's the style. That's the way he rides. I like to feel my gear a little bit. Unless I'm really accelerating, I don't I don't like to do 110, 120 climbing. That's just, it can cause you to go anaerobic. So we're going to turn left. The road up there is called Bethel, or FM 1097. When we turn left, two riders, I think Laura and Clement Champoussin, John Malberg will roll off the front. Because for some reason we sit up for a bit, a gap opens. I just sit in the wheels. I'm not, I didn't let the gap open. I'm not going to close it. so we ride behind them for a few miles, probably 5 kilometers or so, and we catch up with them in the forest. So right here, there was a car coming to the left, so we have a bit of a split. See the white car? So right here we have the split. They don't look behind to make sure we're all ready to go. They just keep riding. And so we just stay here and do our whole hour pace. I use this opportunity to take a drink, reach in my pocket, get something to eat or whatever. You gotta eat on the bike if you're spending a lot of hours out there. So everybody's kind of chatting a little bit. And while this is going on, they're kind of opening a gap. So you take a left turn and you say car left. Well, the rest of the people have to adjust for that car. So you're supposed to back off. But that didn't happen. I'm probably sitting in a 53.19 or something like that. We're doing about 19 miles an hour. So this is about almost halfway into the ride. So we've got a long way to go. We're going to be going back into the wind. We've got a lot of hills that we're going to be dealing with. We're going to go through Mount Pleasant, which has a lot of little rollers and so forth. So now is not the time to waste any energy. Your body has a finite amount of energy. There's a phrase that cyclists use that say you're paying the tax. What they mean is if you burn too many matches, you pay for it later. So this is where the road is this is taking us into the Sam Houston National Forest. This road is FM 1097, also known as Bethel Road. I like coming out here because it's challenging, relatively quiet, low volume of traffic. You don't have to stop very often. You ride about 10 kilometers or so or more before you have to stop. So high exercise potential. Somebody slowed down, so I moved to the right to avoid braking. So as we enter the forest, the road is going to narrow. So Garrett goes back to the front. That's the guy who was pulling back there on Johnson. And he did a lot of pulling during this ride, most of the time. It's like a metronome. He gets a rhythm and he just holds it. So Laura and John Mulborough are up ahead. After a while, they're going to sit up. We'll ride up to them and go by. So this part of the road, we're beginning to enter the forest, is very choppy. There are a lot of bumps. So you got to read the road. There are too many things for people to call out. They're going to call out real bad obstacles, but for the most part, you need to read the road. And if you must go over something rough, stand up, take the load off your wheels. Makes a big difference. So you can see everybody's trying to navigate around all these ruts and the little patches. They just dropped asphalt and didn't smooth it out. In a little bit, it gets a little better, but it's getting all choppy in here. There's certain sections of the road that's getting washed away. They had paved it a few years back, and it's still not holding up very well. But Kenny slowed down. I'm not sure why, so I rolled up on Paul's wheel. I'm going to go on the left because the wind is coming from the right, whatever little wind. We're sheltered because of all the trees, but we are in the Sam Houston National Forest. A lot of people come out here and park their cars. There's certain areas you can park. They have like a dirt parking area where people park their cars and go hiking. There are people that live in the forest that have single family homes. Some people have farms. They got cows. One time, those of you who've seen the channel for a while, we encountered some Texas longhorn cattle with huge horns. They had gotten loose from their pen and they were all over this road. You see that mailbox we just passed, so there are people that live here. I guess they're grandfathered in. I'm not sure how you get property in the national forest, but I'm sure maybe they were there before it became the national forest. This is also a good route to go, like when you're going to Richards. You can avoid the busy 149. Sometimes we come back from Richards this way. But all I'm doing here is staying in the wheels, saving my energy, because once we get on 149, it's going to be up and down. We're going to be going into the wind. And that's a challenging return. The wind just continued to blow harder and harder throughout the late morning into the afternoon. So we're doing like 21, 22, let's say, almost 23, 20, 21 to 20 to 22. And this road is not flat. Right now we're going down, but it's what we just left was gradually going up the whole way. Now we're descending. This is a nice climb when you're coming the opposite direction. So we deal with the busier roads you've seen us on, but we spend as much time as we can on these kinds of roads. It doesn't matter whether we're going north or southwest. You have to deal with some busy roads to get to this serene environment. I mean, look at this. We're under the trees. So even in the heart of summer, it's slightly cooler out here. Plus, it's just so much nicer than just being on a road where there are cars everywhere. The almost like it's an excursion. So every Saturday is like we're kind of getting out of town and going somewhere exotic in a way, so to speak. So we mix up the different routes. We encounter similar roads, but we don't always do them the same way. That keeps it interesting. And then all matters of who you ride with. Makes a big difference. The National Forest is a big area. All of this is part of the forest. 149 is part of the forest, as well as Mount Pleasant that we're going to go on. That's going to be off camera. And we'll run out of battery power by the time we get to 149. But this entire stretch can be challenging. We're descending right now. It's going to start leveling off and it's going to kick up. I think that's Laura and John up there. The power's off. They're not really riding. We're going to just go by. They'll get back in the group. So we didn't chase them. We just held the group pace. The pavement is better here. This is fresh asphalt. They've been doing some repairs in here in certain sections. This one has held up nicely. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's a grade and the water probably runs off, because the areas that are now holding up appear to trap water. And I think water is getting through the pavement and affecting the substrate. Look at the road, beautiful. I moved to the left. I'm not even pedaling. I'm just descending faster than everybody. So this way I don't have to touch my brakes. I just let the wind and the friction slow me down. And then once they come by, I start to drift to take my spot in the line. You still have to look, because somebody else might fill the spot you were in. So when you're riding with your group and you're feeling strong, when you get to the front, hold the group's pace, just stay there longer. As the conditions change, your effort will increase, because you're not in shelter. That way you get a workout instead of changing the pace dramatically and breaking up your group. That's what Garrett's doing up there. He's keeping things steady. So as the road goes up, he keeps the effort the same. So the speed drops. Right now we're at 28K, 16, 17 miles an hour, because the road's going up and we've got a lot of wind. We're going east. The wind's blowing from the south, from the right, and in our face. This is the part of the forest that's getting chewed up. They've come and they've done some, I call poor patching. So So once again, I'm descending faster than everybody. I'm going to drift a little to the left until I slow down enough. You see the road in the distance, it kicks up. So it's going to go up as we go towards 149. It will go up to probably about maybe 1,000 meters. Then it levels off, goes downhill and drops us on 149. So this entire time we're working. .5%. There's a lot of little ruts, so you gotta read the road. I just keep it in one gear and just ride 75 to 85. That's the range. Went above 90 there, but that's so when it gets too high, I just shift up. So all I'm focused on here is reading the road. It saves your wheels. Gotta know where they're going. And so we're descending here. People are slowing down kind of early. I think I'm gonna move to the front. I'm gonna go between these two guys. We're going to be turning right, which takes us south. I want to make sure I don't slow down too much because then you have to work so much harder to stay in the wheels. There's too much of a gap here that I'm going to ride up because we're approaching the intersection. This guy's slowing down too much, so I'm going to go to his left, I believe. Yeah. This is 149. We're going south. The road we just left was called Bethel. If you stayed on this road and went straight, it would take you directly into Montgomery. But we're going to use Hidden Forest. That will be off camera. A lot of motorcyclists come out here on the weekends for the very reason we do. Light traffic, scenic roads. Now, I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, get your K's in and keep every doctor fired.